From up-and-comers who left us too soon, to all-time great character actors, to legends of the Golden Age, 2024 has already seen the passing of a wealth of notable performers. Two-time Tony Award winner Chita Rivera died on January 30th from an undisclosed illness at the age of 91. The beloved actor, singer, dancer was the originator of several beloved stage roles, including Anita in West Side Story, Aurora in Kiss of the Spider-Woman, and Velma Kelly in Chicago. Though she was mostly known for her theatrical performances, Rivera did venture into film and TV. She reprised her stage role of Nikki in Sweet Charity for the 1969 film adaptation, and she also had cameos in the movie versions of Chicago in 2002 and Tick, Tick, Boom in 2021. On the small screen, she was part of the cast of The New Dick Van Dyke Show, and she had a scattering of guest appearances on various other shows. Rivera was one of musical theater's most legendary performers and is often cited by younger generations as a formative inspiration. In addition to her 2 acting Tonys, she won 2 Drama Desk Awards, a Kennedy Center honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and a 3rd Tony for Lifetime Achievement. After an acting career that spanned 7 decades, Glynis Johns died on January 4th from natural causes at age 100. She's probably best known to American audiences as Sister Suffragette Winifred Banks in Mary Poppins, but she'd already established a fruitful career on stage and screen, beginning with her breakout role in the 1942 British war drama 49th Parallel. John's other memorable films include Miranda and The Sundowners, the latter of which earned her an Academy Award nomination. On TV, she was the star of the sitcom Glynis, and she also appeared on shows like Batman and Cheers. On stage, she originated the role of Desiree Armfeldt in the Stephen Sondheim musical A Little Night Music. Sondheim wrote one of the show's songs, Send in the Clowns, specifically for Johns, and it went on to become one of the biggest hits of his career. She also won a Tony for the role in 1973. Following an unpublicized diagnosis of appendix cancer, Adan Canto died on January 8th at the age of 42. The Mexican-born actor is preparing to return to his main cast role as a mobster in the Fox crime drama The Cleaning Lady, which began shooting its 3rd season in December 2023.
Adan Canto's on The Cleaning Lady? Count me in. Well, that's cool.
Canto's fascination with film began at age 7, when he was an extra in the 1992 movie Like Water for Chocolate, which was filmed in his home city of Ciudad Acuña. At the age of 16, he pursued music in Mexico City, where he would act in commercials while playing at local bars. He was eventually cast in Mexican TV shows, which led to work in American productions. His notable credits include Sunspot in X-Men Days of Future Past, and a main cast gig on Designated Survivor. Canto had just begun dabbling in directing as well. His short film The Shot played at a variety of festivals in 2020 and won several awards, including the Jury Prize at the San Antonio Film Festival. David Soul, the latter half of the beloved TV detective duo Starsky and Hutch, was 80 when he died on January 4th. The specific cause wasn't disclosed, but it was known that he'd had a lung removed due to cancer. Soul began his acting career in the mid-60s, as he appeared on shows like Here Come the Brides and Star Trek, before hitting it big with Starsky and Hutch, which aired from 1975 to 1979. As Sergeant Kenneth Richard Hutch Hutchinson, Soul brought a balanced Midwestern demeanor to one of TV's most memorable on-screen pairings. Outside of acting, Soul also had a notable music career. In 1977, his single Don't Give Up on Us went to #1 on both the Billboard Top 100 and the UK Singles Chart. He would go on to release 5 albums, while also continuing to act in film, TV, and theater until 2013. Best known as Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies, Carl Weathers died at the age of 76 on February 2nd from natural causes brought on by heart disease. He was beloved for his decades of warm and confident performances. Prior to his work on screen, Weathers was an accomplished athlete, as he played college football for the San Diego State Aztecs and had a short professional stint for the Oakland Raiders. In 1987, Weathers starred opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in the beloved sci-fi thriller Predator, and he had main roles on TV shows like In the Heat of the Night and Chicago Justice. Weathers also had a knack for comedy, in the likes of the Adam Sandler golf comedy Happy Gilmore, and on the sitcom Arrested Development, in which he played a fictionalized version of himself.
Baby, you got a stew going.
Weathers' later career was most notable for his entrance into the Star Wars universe as Greef Karga on The Mandalorian. He received his first ever Emmy nomination for that role, and also directed 2 episodes of the series. On February 27th, comedian Richard Lewis died peacefully in his sleep following a heart attack. Despite having been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 3 years earlier, that was only noted as a secondary cause of death. He was 76. Lewis began performing stand-up comedy in the 70s and quickly became known for his anxious, neurotic style. He would often dress in all black and pace back and forth on stage, while flailing his hands around and openly discussing difficult topics like alcoholism and drug abuse. He gained a significant degree of popularity after becoming a mainstay on several popular late-night shows. Following his Parkinson's diagnosis, he retired from stand-up to focus on writing and acting. After co-starring in the sitcom Anything But Love alongside Jamie Lee Curtis, Lewis then led the short-lived shows Daddy Dearest and Hiller and Diller. However, his most notable TV role was a semi-fictionalized version of himself alongside Larry David on the long-running HBO sitcom Curb Your Enthusiasm. He also made his presence felt on the big screen, most notably in the Mel Brooks parody Robin Hood Men in Tights and the Nicolas Cage-starring drama Leaving Las Vegas. On March 19th, legendary character actor Emmet Walsh died of a heart attack at the age of 88 in his home state of Vermont. Walsh broke through to film audiences in 1984 after starring in the Coen brothers' directorial debut, Blood Simple, which earned him a Film Independent Spirit Award for Best Male Lead.
If it's right and it's legal, I'll do it.
Before Blood Simple, Walsh had already delivered memorable turns in films like The Jerk and Blade Runner. Afterward, he pumped out a resume of well over 100 credits in movies that ranged from the 1986 sci-fi horror comedy Critters to the 2019 whodunit Knives Out. His memorable TV credits include Tales from the Crypt and The Righteous Gemstones. Despite his extensive on-screen history, Walsh remained an under-the-radar talent who was never really a household name. Nevertheless, he was beloved by plenty of die-hard cinephiles. And in fact, he was part of the inspiration behind Roger Ebert's Stanton Walsh rule, which held that no movie featuring either Harry Dean Stanton or Emmet Walsh in a supporting role can be altogether bad. In one of the year's most shocking developments, up-and-coming star Chance Perdomo died after a motorcycle accident on March 30th. At 27 years old, Perdomo was best known as Ambrose Spellman, cousin and best friend to the title witch on Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. At the time of his death, he was starring as Andre Anderson, a student with the ability to manipulate magnetic force on Prime Video's Gen V, a spin-off of The Boys. Production on the series' upcoming second season was delayed indefinitely following the news of his death.
Andre, he doesn't want anything to do with that. Like, he's a charmer, he's a slacker, and he doesn't want any responsibility whatsoever.
Perdomo grew up in Southampton, England, and eventually moved to London to pursue acting. He trained at the Identity School of Acting, whose other notable alumni include John Boyega and Letitia Wright. By 2018, at the age of 22, Perdomo had already been nominated for a BAFTA for his work on the TV movie Killed by My Debt, which told the real-life story of a young gig economy worker who kills himself after accruing inescapable debt from traffic violations. Groundbreaking performer Louis Gossett Jr. passed away on March 29th at the age of 87. In 1983, he made history when he became the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. That award-winning role was a hard-nosed drill instructor in An Officer and a Gentleman. His authority over a bunch of white recruits was quite striking for the time period. Gossett was also a civil rights activist who, after meeting Nelson Mandela in the 1990s, founded the Eracism Foundation to help foster a world in which racism no longer exists. Gossett's acting career began like a rocket after a basketball injury led to him discovering theater, as he earned a role in the 1953 Broadway production of Take a Giant Step. At just 16 years old, he began what would become an illustrious stage career, which included acting opposite Sidney Poitier in A Raisin in the Sun in 1959, and Sammy Davis Jr. in Golden Boy in 1964. Gossett transitioned to Hollywood in the 60s and made a memorable turn as Fiddler in the beloved TV miniseries Roots in 1977. His final film roles included 2023's musical adaptation of The Color Purple and a voice part in the May 2024 fantasy adventure film If.
It's lightning in a bottle. It's beautiful.
After a career spanning the latter half of the 20th century, Barbara Rush died on March 31st at the age of 97. She'd been diagnosed with dementia and was residing in an assisted living facility in Los Angeles. She was probably best known for her co-starring role in the 1953 sci-fi horror flick It Came from Outer Space. She played Ellen Fields, a teacher who, along with her aspiring astronomer boyfriend, witnesses an alien spaceship crash onto Earth. Rush garnered plenty of success while acting opposite a series of popular leading men, including Rock Hudson in Magnificent Obsession, Dean Martin in The Young Lions, Frank Sinatra in Come Blow Your Horn, and Paul Newman in The Young Philadelphians. Though Rush was often pigeonholed as an innocent lady or supportive wife, she always brought an elegance to each and every one of her performances. On the small screen, she had recurring roles on the soap operas Peyton Place and All My Children, as well as the popular WB drama Seventh Heaven. On the stage, she was featured in productions of The Night of the Iguana, Steel Magnolias, and her solo show, A Woman of Independent Means. Amidst the many media frenzies surrounding retired football player O.J. Simpson, it's easy to forget that he also had a successful acting career. Well before he died at the age of 76 from prostate cancer on April 10th, his professional athletic career took off with the Buffalo Bills in 1969, after he was selected as the first pick in that year's NFL draft. He appeared in commercials for Hertz, but his biggest on-screen spotlight came in the spoof The Naked Gun movies. He played Detective Nordberg, the seemingly invincible best friend and former partner to Leslie Nielsen's boneheaded Lieutenant Frank Drebin. Despite that comic highlight, most of Simpson's acting career consisted of more dramatic roles, from violent crime flicks like Firepower and No Place to Hide, to the disaster thriller The Cassandra Crossing. Simpson was also interested in tackling the topic of race, as he appeared on the seminal miniseries Roots, an episode of In the Heat of the Night, and the 1974 film The Klansman, in which he played an innocent black man accused of murdering a white woman. Simpson was eventually set to star in his own series, a Navy SEAL action drama entitled Frogmen. But then, in 1994, he was charged with the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. Despite eventually being acquitted, the trial forever marred his reputation and put his acting career on permanent ice. Days after suddenly canceling a planned appearance at Comic-Con Liverpool in May, actor Bernard Hill died for undisclosed reasons at the age of 79. Hill is best known for his roles as King Theoden in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as well as the honorable ship captain Edward Smith in Titanic. That makes Hill the only actor who has appeared in 2 of the 3 films that hold the record for winning 11 Academy Awards. Raised working class in Manchester, his breakthrough role was the Liverpudlian Yasser Hughes in the 1980 TV movie Black Stuff, and its 1982 miniseries successor, Boys from the Black Stuff. His character became such a phenomenon that his catchphrase, "Giz a job," or "give us a job" in Liverpudlian slang, became a slogan for protests against a rising unemployment rate across England during the reign of Margaret Thatcher. Other on-screen credits include films like Gandhi, The Scorpion King, and Paranorman, as well as the second season of BBC's series The Responder, which premiered mere hours after his death. Other actors who have passed away in 2024 so far include David Emge and Michael Culver.